The duel between Jedi Master Mace Windu and Dark Lord of the Sith Darth Sidious was an epic confrontation between the light and dark. A relative stalemate between the two combatants, Mace appeared to get the upper hand on the Sith Lord and take control of the duel, just as Anakin Skywalker entered the Chancellor's office. This series of events seems to make it clear that Mace defeated Sidious, having disarmed him and apparently been on his way to killing the Sith. But appearances can be deceiving, particularly when dealing with a master of deception and manipulation, and one whose namesake implies insidious operations. In this video expose, I will describe why Mace did not defeat Darth Sidious in their duel within the Chancellor's office as depicted in Revenge of the Sith, based upon the Sith's grand plan that had been in operation for 1,000 years, and given that the duel proceeded exactly as Sidious desired. In order to accept that Mace was in fact victorious over Darth Sidious, one would have to also accept that the 1,000-year grand plan that originated with Darth Bane, underpinned by his rule of two, actually culminated in defeat for the Sith, wherein the Sith were lucky to have been able to retake control of the galaxy and defeat the Jedi through the fortunate actions of Anakin Skywalker. In case you're unfamiliar with Bane and his grand plan, here's why it's important to this question. Having recognized that the natural infighting that was occurring between the Sith was causing the Order to get weaker, as a number of lesser Sith were teaming up to remove the more powerful ones, Bane saw this eventually culminating in the demise of the Sith. Therefore, he purged the entirety of the Sith Order to start anew with his Order of the Sith Lords. Darth Bane's Sith Order would be defined by his rule of two, wherein there would never be more than two Sith at any given time, a master to embody the power of the dark side, and an apprentice to crave it. The rule of two allowed the Sith to gain power in the shadows, away from the knowledge of the Jedi Order and the Republic. For 1,000 years, the Sith gained power and prepared themselves for when they would destroy the Jedi, as they passed their knowledge and power down through the generations. On top of this, due to the fact that Bane's new order was kept secret and hidden from the Jedi grew stagnant in their powers and skills, as they thought that their mortal enemy was completely annihilated. Therefore, by the time of Revenge of the Sith, Darth Sidious was the beneficiary of 1,000 years of the Sith gaining in strength in their secret war against the Jedi. Mace Windu defeating Sidious undermines and contradicts the importance of the Sith grand plan, as well as their decision to gather power through deception, manipulation, and subterfuge. Given how the Sith had prepared for their destruction of the Jedi, we have to take serious Sidious's quote from the Revenge of the Sith novelization, wherein he told Mace and the other three Jedi Masters who'd come to confront him, "If you only knew how long I've been waiting for this." But it's not merely speculation to suggest that the rule of two, and the Sith evolving and becoming more powerful for 1,000 years through Bane's grand plan, would have made it unlikely that Sidious would simply be defeated by Mace, and that it wasn't part of Sidious's own manipulations and greater plan. Yoda, during his own duel with Sidious, ultimately came to this exact understanding, and recognized how powerful the Sith had become over the last millennium, and with it, how desperately unprepared and relatively weak the Jedi had become. The quote from the novelization is long, but it bears repeating, as it perfectly demonstrates why Mace, and Yoda too for that matter, could not have simply defeated Sidious in their duel, given how the rule of two impacted the destiny of the Sith. The quote states, "Finally, he saw the truth, this truth, that he, the Avatar of Light, Supreme Master of the Jedi Order, the fiercest, most implacable, most devastatingly powerful foe the darkness had ever known, just didn't have it. He'd never had it. He had lost before he started. He had lost before he was born. The Sith had changed. The Sith had grown, had adapted, had invested 1,000 years' intensive study into every aspect of not only the Force, but Jedi lore itself, in preparation for exactly this day. The Sith had remade themselves, they had become new, while the Jedi, the Jedi had spent the same millennium training to refight the last war. The new Sith could not be destroyed with a lightsaber. They could not be burned away by any torch of the Force. As Yoda came to understand in his own duel with Sidious, the Sith Lord could not be defeated in lightsaber combat or through the Force alone. As recognized by Yoda, the Sith had become too powerful over the previous millennium, wherein even he, the Avatar of Light and best chance the Jedi had against the darkness, could not defeat the newly evolved Sith, particularly when the Jedi did not evolve with them. Clearly, the rule of two in the previous 1,000 years had made the Sith much more powerful than any Jedi, wherein Darth Sidious was the embodiment of this power as the Order's Dark Lord of the Sith. Therefore, understanding the importance of Darth Bane's rule of two and how it made Sidious immensely powerful by the time of Revenge of the Sith, this strongly supports the argument that the exceptionally powerful Sidious was not defeated by Mace, and some other motivations must have existed for why Sidious would provide the appearance that the Jedi Master was victorious. But what were these other motivations? Once we fully understand the scene depicting the duel between Mace and Sidious, it's clear that the entire operation, the entire duel, was meant to further manipulate Anakin into joining the Sith and eliminating the Jedi. Sidious could not achieve this goal without appearing vulnerable, and without convincing Anakin that the Jedi were traitors to the Republic, and attempting to assassinate him for their own benefit. This would play into Anakin's own desires for wanting to keep Sidious alive in order to help save Padme. Making the Jedi appear as the aggressors gave Anakin a reason to betray Mace and join Sidious. The novelization makes it clear that after Palpatine revealed himself to Anakin as the Sith Lord the Jedi were searching for, events were unfolding exactly as he wanted them to. As stated in the novel, Sidious could feel Anakin's anguish, and it was good. He could also feel the grim determination of the 4 Jedi Masters who were approaching, and for Sidious, that too was good. It's clear that Sidious was angling to quickly kill 3 of the Jedi Masters, which he did with very little effort, speaking to just how powerful the Sith were, as Yoda recognized, and then attempt to draw Anakin to the dark side through a drawn-out battle with the remaining Master. Once the duel between Mace and Sidious started, Anakin could feel the Force around the Jedi Master and Sith Lord, and Anakin could feel that it was darkening. But the novel provides a perfect perspective from Mace's point of view that clearly demonstrates how Sidious was manipulating events, including giving the appearance that he had been disarmed and defeated by Mace, in order to pull Anakin to the dark side. As Mace and Sidious were engaged in lightsaber combat, following Anakin's appearance in the Chancellor's office, Mace felt the battle between the two coming to an end, wherein Sidious became a pulsar of fear. Moments later, Mace was able to disarm Sidious, thereby forcing the Sith to take refuge on the window ledge. Having been disarmed, Sidious turned to Anakin, stating, "Do you see, Anakin? Do you? Didn't I warn you of the Jedi and their treason?" The film depicted a very similar exchange between the Sith Lord and Anakin, with Sidious stating, "Anakin, I told you it would come to this. The Jedi are taking over," with a suggestion that the Jedi were traitors to the Republic, coming moments later. After Sidious tried to convince Anakin of the Jedi treachery, Mace told Sidious that he and the Sith lost for the same reason they always lost. They were defeated by their own fear. Mace came to this conclusion based upon the fear that he felt from Sidious prior to disarming him, and obtaining what he believed was a victory over the Sith Lord. However, upon hearing Mace's accusation that he was defeated by his own fear, Sidious shouted that the Jedi Master was a fool for believing that, and asked him if he was really certain that the fear he felt was Sidious's fear. Importantly, although Mace heard Sidious's question, he did not have time to comprehend it or consider what the Sith Lord meant, as he had to quickly defend against the incoming Force lightning sent his way. But this exchange is crucial to why Mace did not defeat Sidious in their duel. Just as in the Clone Wars generally, the Jedi, and in this case Mace, are always one step behind Sidious and his greater plan. Similar to the war itself, Sidious forced Mace to fight and have to defend himself in battle against the dark side to distract him so that he did not uncover the entirety of his true plans and goals, which in this case was to pull Anakin to the Sith. This is why Mace did not understand that he was feeling Anakin's fear, and not that of the Sith Lord. Sidious knew that Anakin was consumed by anguish and fear in his desire to save Padme, and if he looked vulnerable enough, he could convince the young Jedi to join him and assist in eradicating the Jedi Order. Further, we know that Sidious was not defeated by Mace, as the novelization makes it clear that even after the Jedi Master disarmed him and Anakin quickly approached, Mace felt that Sidious was right. Sidious was not afraid. In fact, he wasn't worried at all about the situation, and even trusted Anakin within the circumstances. If Sidious had been defeated in the duel, and circumstances then became out of his hands, Sidious would have surely felt some worry or fear, as Mace was only moments away from killing him. However, as we saw the events play out on screen and in the novel, Sidious had manipulated the entire event to perfection, and was certain that Anakin would ultimately step in to disarm Mace to complete his fall to the dark side. The grand plan that was initiated by Darth Bane 1,000 years prior ensured that events would proceed this way. The Sith had grown too powerful to be defeated by a single Jedi Master, even if that Master was Mace Windu or even Yoda. Sidious could not simply be bested by a lightsaber when the Jedi had trained for a millennium to fight a Sith order that no longer existed and had evolved. And Darth Sidious did not let the fate of the Sith come down to mere luck that Anakin would intervene to rescue him and fall to the dark side. Rather, the duel was one further deception perpetrated by Sidious, wherein his vulnerability and apparent defeat succeeded in forcing Anakin to make his decision to join the Sith and help to eradicate the Jedi Order. So there we have it. Why Mace did not defeat Darth Sidious in Revenge of the Sith. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars theories and discussions? Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like or leaving a comment. If not for me, for more power.